Belmo is back. After winning the PBA World Championship in March, Jason Belmonte is ready to resume his Storm World Series of bowling. Today, the Australian superstar faces former Player of the Year E.J. Tackett, two-time major champion Anthony Simonson, and up-and-comer Brad Miller, as Belmo seeks to defend his title in the PBA Chameleon Championship. It's just a quick drive from Washington, D.C. with all the history and beauty it has to offer. We're coming from Belair, Centerville in Virginia, where tonight we resume the 2020 Storm World Series of bowling. The Chameleon Championship round for the world's best bowlers will take center stage, all hoping for a PBA Tour title and a place in pro bowling history. We have a great field here. Jason Belmonte, E.J. Tackett, two surefire future Hall of Famers, along with young star Anthony Simonson. Brad Miller here as well, trying for his first career PBA Tour title. We start with a seeding round game. High score becomes top seed after that. It's stepladder bowling to determine a champion. Welcome back, bowling fans. Centerville, Virginia, 2020 Storm World Series of Bowling here on FS1. Dave Ryan alongside the Hall of Famer Randy Peterson, joined all broadcast long. Lane-level interviews by Kimberly Pressler as well. Randy, the World Series of Bowling finally back underway. We saw Sean Rash in the Cheetah Championship win his lucky 16th career tour title. Now we move on to the Chameleon. All eyes on Belmo. Jason Belmonte back in the U.S. looking for another championship.
Yeah, usually anytime Jason Belmonte takes the lanes, all eyes are on him. The winningest player in major championship history, and also the winningest player in the history of the World Series of Bowling. 20 televised finals appearances for Jason at the WSOB with 6 wins. Soon he'll become the 6-time Player of the Year, and he'll join elite company, tying the late, great Earl Anthony. But make no mistake about it, Rhino, tonight on the Chameleon Championship, all roads go through the defending champ, Jason Belmonte.
Look at the most World Series of Bowling TV final appearances, and Belmo at 20. He's won this Chameleon title twice in 2011 and last year. And he's joined now by Kimberly.
Thanks, Dave. So, Jason, you've had a lot of success on the Chameleon. You've won it twice before, and you are the defending champion. And this is known to be a very tough pattern. So what is it about this animal pattern that works so well for you?
It's a really good question, Kimberly. I don't know. I didn't realize I had as much success on this until we were talking earlier. I just feel like any time that the lanes can open up and I can move a little further left, it obviously fits into my A game. And this pattern seems to do that probably a little bit more regularly than the other ones. But now we're on television. The lanes don't open up. They're absolutely brutal today, so it's going to be about making good shots.
All right. Thank you for your time.
No worries. Thank you.
Well, what makes this 39-foot pattern so tough is it's extremely dry in the middle part of the lane and very oily to the outside part of the lane. And so what the players are going to do is they're really going to try to take bowling balls that don't hook very much, and they're going to try to go as straight as they can around second arrow. And hopefully something develops as the players tend to play in the same part of the lane. Hopefully they can break that part down, create some friction to throw into.
All right, RP, here we go. Seeding round. All 4 looking for a top score and the top seed.
A 13-time PBA Tour champion with 2 major titles, the 2016 PBA Player of the Year, E.J. Tackett.
And coming off of his second place finish at the Cheetah Championship, E.J. is 5th in earnings and 3rd in average this season, but still looking for his first win this year.
Small town, big game. Bluffton, Indiana. E.J. Tackett starts his day in the seeding round with a 10-pin.
Pretty good opening shot. He's using, what's that ball called? Some kind of polymer, microcell polymer. We saw him use it in the Cheetah. Just trying to go as straight as he can. He said the important thing is to fill frames.
He owns 24 PBA Tour titles with a record 13 major victories. The 5-time PBA Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see if the lanes are as tough as Jason told Kimberly they were. But again, no one's won more major championships in the history of professional bowling than that man right there. And today he looks for his 25th win.
What a career for Belmo. And great to see him back in the U.S. Going on TV again. His day starts 4-pin.
You can see the blue tracer on that right lane going right over second arrow. Jason Belmonte comes in just a pinch high, leaving the 4-pin. Right on top of it. Spares are going to be at a premium, and it's all about filling frames and avoiding the opens.
4-pin, no worries there. The 24 career titles, 11th all-time PBA Tour history. But the majors, he's number one.
PBA Tour finish was second in the 2019 Roth-Holman Doubles Championship, Brad Miller.
This 8-year pro is still looking for his first win, but to get it tonight, he'll have to beat the Mount Rushmore of bowling. If Brad wins the first place check, he will have earned every penny tonight.
Lee Summit not too far from Kansas City. And up steps Brad Miller in the seeding round game. We'll see the 4 bowlers for step ladder bowling after that to determine a winner. Missed the pocket.
Yeah, he didn't miss by much. He's a little bit. Yeah, he's a little bit farther right. He's just to the right of the second arrow, and it may have been just a little bit right of where he wanted it.
Two, 4, 5, no problem.
A 7-time PBA Tour champion with 2 majors, the youngest ever with 2 major titles, Anthony Simonson.
Hard to believe it that at age 23, Simonson already has Hall of Fame credentials. This season, he's 4th in earnings, and tonight looks for his 8th career win. Simonson, Brad Miller, Jason Belmonte, all using urethane.
Simo's first effort, right at it.
And so the question that you probably have, Dave, and a lot of our viewers at home have, is why? Well, the reason is because the lanes are so flat, the oil pattern's so flat, there's no help left or right. So the players are going to throw a ball that doesn't do a whole lot. And then just try to kind of throw it at the 1-3 pocket. Just try to keep it on line, make spares, and maybe get lucky and throw a double or a 3 in a row. Until something develops.
Strikes, of course, are fun to watch, but I love watching the world's best try to dissect, interpret, and excel on a tough pattern.
I mean, you know, I think you got to ask yourself: do you want to watch if you're watching baseball?
No, do
you want to watch a home run derby, or do you want to watch a guy throw a no-hitter?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you know, this would typically be something that we'd see at a U.S. Open. But again, we don't know how the pattern's going to break down based on where the players are playing.
TV record. Extraordinary for Belmont. Match 1, seeding round continues, trip 10-pin. Finally got our first strike.
We got there in the end.
No one's harder on themselves than E.J. Tackett. Disappointed. Runner-up, cheated championship to Sean Rash. Zitolos, couple execution errors. Strikes here. Different oil pattern then. Immensely talented bowler, E.J. Tackett.
He was throwing it to the edge of the lane. In essence, the one board, the 1.5 board, and now he's throwing it straight up second arrow. I mean, you've got to be able to play all angles to be a superstar out on this tour.
Simonson, wow. Almost 20 miles an hour right at that 1-3 pocket.
That's pretty straight right there. Look at those numbers.
Oh, yeah. Right at it.
He's the farthest right, at least on that left lane.
Brad Miller tells us he's worked a lot on the mental part of his game. And the time off during the COVID break. Feels physically he's as good as anyone out on the tour. But sometimes it takes that extra edge to win. 2-4 up. Almost the same lead.
I think Brad needs to go a little bit straighter. It's kind of hard to give the pocket away with his rev rate. Well, one of the advantages he does have is that he can go straighter, take his hand out of it, where the other players, the rev rates are so high, it's a little harder for them to do that.
Underway in our seeding round game here from the 2020 Storm World Series of Bowling Chameleon Championship. Stepladder determined when we return. PBA Chameleon Championship Storm World Series of Bowling here on FS1, and we have got our seeding order: Belmonte, Tackett, Simonson, and Miller. The top 4 stepladder bowling comes your way next. And Randy, we saw in the Cheetah Championship, John Rash, his 16th career PBA Tour title, took down E.J. Tackett in the championship to begin our World Series action here in Centerville.
Well, he climbed the ladder and he made so many ball choices and changes, and every one seemed to work out. E.J. hung in there tough. He made the washout, then he made the 2-4-10 to keep it close. But Sean Rash tripped a couple of 2 pins in that title match that propelled him to victory.
I don't care how it happened, but it just did! Yeah!
And that means Sean Rash is top 8 for the upcoming PBA playoffs as well. Randy, let's look back at the seeding round. That was wild, back and forth. And in the end, Jason Belmonte's the top seed, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 frames to go, we were kind of counting Belmonte out. He was actually behind Tackett and Simonson at the time. And then it was open frame, and next thing you know, Belmonte's your #1 seed.
PBA playoffs, the points, top 24. That's where everyone wants to be to make the upcoming competition. Jason Belmonte, #1, of course, with O'Neill, Simonson, and E.J. Tackett to follow. Sean Rash is, as we said, the victory in the Cheetah Championship, top 8 to get a bye in the upcoming PBA playoffs. The points all the way to number 24, and you can see them starting this Saturday on Fox at 8 Eastern. We can't wait to bring you the 2020 PBA playoffs on Fox. Randy, it's going to be fun to watch that one. Prime time on Big Fox, awesome. 8 Eastern.
Some big names that just barely missed out of the top 24. One that really stands out, Wes Malott.
When we come back, first match, Chameleon Championship, stepladder bowling, the 4-seed Brad Miller trying for his first career PBA Tour title against young star, the 2-hander from Texas, Anthony Simonson. You're watching the Storm World Series of Bowling here on FS1. Dave, Randy, Kimberly with you from Centerville, Virginia. Here is the second match. Now that we're through the seeding round, time for stepladder bowling. Winner moves on, loser goes home. Simonson, Miller, head-to-head. Very challenging conditions here at Bolero. Whoa.
Simonson goes with the ball change to start this opening match with Brad Miller. So now he's into reactive resin. And that looks like it just hit a sheet of ice. I told you at the top of the show about this all pattern. Very slick to the outside.
1-2-4 right down the line here for Simonson.
Oh, my.
He didn't like it, but he covers it.
Well, he thought he missed it left, and he threw it hard enough, and that plastic ball didn't hook an inch. As you see what Brad Miller did in round of 16, and we talked about the round of 8. He's going back to urethane. Interesting. So Simonson, the high rev guy, goes to reactive resin, and Brad Miller with a little less revs, a little less power, he goes back to the weaker ball.
He didn't like it. Look down. It's a high shot that leaves the 6-pin.
So much right there.
Just early hook right there in the front part of the lane. That's created by the excessive amount of surface these urethane balls have on them.
He's disappointed. Missed the 1-3 pocket. We talked about all the work he did with his coach in Utah. Jazz now. And he whiffs. Oh, boy. Well, that mental training and emotional stability under pressure is going to be put to the test here. Big time.
You know, I made a few shows in my career where I got on television and I knew that I didn't have a shot to shoot 180. And I'll tell you what, it's one of the scariest feelings on the planet. You just, I mean, you have no idea what to do, where to stand, what target to look at, or how to throw it. Forget about what ball to use. And it's like being out on an island all by yourself.
That's better. Labels that one 1-3 pocket. Maybe relaxing a bit. Star of the Brad and Kyle show on YouTube channel. It's been very successful for those two young bowlers.
Now, good shot here. Now the question is, can Brad duplicate that more than once and see about maybe stringing some strikes together?
Simo to get here. Wow.
And
listen to the ball on pins there, Randy.
And I believe that's another ball. So different ball on the right lane. I don't know if he's going to use the same one on the left lane. And it does appear that he is.
You play a ball to go that straight.
Simonson to go up by 21 pins. Left lane, not so much. 6-pin stance.
That wasn't that bad of a shot, though, and so that's going to give him a really nice read for the next time he's up on that left lane.
Make that one.
Simonson, a busy guy, as we talked about in Vegas, getting the new bowling center going, handling the bowling operations part. He really told us the other day, just loves the business aspect of bowling, something he never thought about. He's a young guy still, but maybe a future in that as well. Not just a star on tour. All right, Brad steps up needing something positive.
And goes back to the reactive resin on the right lane.
And cut it to an early 1-pin deficit with a strike here, but that comes in high again. Just misses the 1-3 pocket. 3-6-10.
I think he just had a little too much hand in that shot. And I think the location and where he's trying to play, but I think he just hit it too hard. but obviously does not have a very good picture in terms of what to do on this oil pattern.
I like to keep the mask on. Bowlers have the option on the approach to take it off if they want, but safety first here on the tour. Covers nicely back to Kimberly.
Thanks, Dave. So Brad told me that he's feeling much better about being on these TV finals due to not only working with his coach, like you and Randy mentioned, but also because he learned a lot from Norm Duke while competing in the PBA League with him this last week. He said watching how Norm handles tough situations helped give him a complete shift in his mental approach because Norm doesn't take things too serious, which is exactly what Brad hopes to do today.
Kimberly, this will be a challenging spot as you see the arsenal for Brad.
Well, he's phase 2 on the right lane, and then he's, I believe it's a pitch black on the left lane.
Max scores. Taking a lot from Mike Jasnow, of course, the great Norm Duke, as Kimberly talked about. Left lane, Miller. 7-pin stance.
Well, he's close on the left lane. He's got a good idea of what to do on the left lane. I'm not so sure about the right lane.
Have you watched the YouTube channel, the Brad and Kyle Show? It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, they've got some great content on there.
Put a lot of work into that. And shoot a lot of those videos. Very popular, to be sure. 7-pin. Head to PBA.com to check out the PBA Pro Bowling video game. The game features the top PBA pros, real equipment, authentic oil patterns, more than 100 tournaments, and online play. Now available for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and for your PC. Simonson, 4th frame, gets the 9.
All right, let's see what he does on the left lane. Nice little break here, trip of the 9 forward. Being unchallenged by Brad Miller thus far, though, so that gives Simonson a little breathing room. Wild Streak is his orb of choice.
Left lane.
Wow.
Off the mark.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like all he tried to do was throw that one a little bit harder, and you could see it right there at 21.3 miles an hour is probably the fastest shot he's thrown all night. We told you they were tough at the top of the show. You got to remember that this man right here, or this young man right here, is one of the best at manipulating a bowling ball. And you and I have witnessed both sides where
literally
he can curve it like a right-hander, and he can also curve it like a left-hander.
In a televised competition, it was amazing.
Yeah, and then
Jupiter, Florida,
right?
I mean, talk about talent.
And then everything in between.
Became the only left-hander at the PBA Summer Clash in Jupiter, Florida. He was up by 12. Second match, but first in our stepladder bowling at the Chameleon Championship. All part of the Storm World Series of Bowling here in Centerville, Virginia. With his best buddy, Kyle Sherman.
Hey, Dave, another ball change for Brad Miller.
Seen a lot of those, haven't we? Right lane, trying to find a look. Gets a bump on the 4. Down it goes for a strike. And he's taking a long look, isn't he?
Well, that's the analyzation after throwing the shot. So now he goes, okay, well, I stood here, I looked there, I threw this one really good, and then it went high and I tripped the 4-pin. And then all the calculations start. And that's just for that lane. Now he moves to the left lane and goes, all right, well, what the heck do I do here?
He's been up and down. Bottom line, though, only a 12-pin match, so he's right there. And a chance to cut it to 2 here in the 6th frame. He's been doing a lot of ball changing.
Well, this is back, the urethane on that left lane for him. And he's actually found the pocket the last couple of times with the urethane on the left lane. I think he left a 10-pin in the fourth, but yeah, there it is. It was a 10-pin. How about that? All of a sudden now he's got a double. You know, if you fish long enough, you're bound to catch something. And that's exactly what Brad did. We're halfway through match number 1. Brad Miller, Anthony Simonson going at it. It's a 2-pin match. Lots more to come.
You're watching the Storm World Series of Bowling here on FS1, the Lincoln Memorial at night. Great view from the World War II Memorial over the reflecting pond. Spectacular history, scenery, only a short 20-minute drive from where we are here in Centerville, Virginia, suburban DC. The world's best bowlers converging on Centerville for the Storm World Series of Bowling. Some great history in Simo's past on his resume. And out of the TV timeout, a big strike for Simonson.
We're going to take a look at Anthony Simonson, his second and fourth frame after he made the ball change. Red is the second frame and blue the fourth frame. Right now striking on the right lane and not on the left. So what is the adjustment? Remember the last time he threw it about 21.5 miles an hour on this left lane and left the 2-8.
2-pin match, left lane. Whoa.
Yeah. Bad shot.
1-2-4.
Guess who's back in this match? Brad Miller.
Hanging around.
It looked like he just got it too far to the right and missed it at the bottom of the swing. And now your new leader, Brad Miller.
Wow. 4-pin up, open frame, 10-pin lead for Miller on the bench.
Yeah. One bad frame is all it took, and it was right here. Whiffs the head pin and then chops the 1-2-4.
So Miller can go up 20 here, Randy. In his 7th frame, looks for the turkey. Max numbers, look at that. 248 for Brad Miller in search of his first career PBA Tour title. Started this match with an open. Looked like he was struggling based on his performance in the seeding round, and he's found a look. Now can he finish the match? That's the question. Big shot, 7th frame. No.
I have no idea.
Who doesn't know? 6, 4, 6.
Wow.
Well, if you look at the strike track, that was definitely inside of the last shot that he threw on that lane. This time 4-6 through the nose for Brad. Gives it right back to Simonson.
Wow.
And you know, Brad is looking to try to do something that he's never done in his career, and that's win a game on television.
He was temporarily the driver's seat, but he's giving it right back to one of the best in the world in Anthony Simonson, who rarely makes mistakes the way he did with his open frame twice. But Brad struggling on that right lane, looking for answers. Struck twice on the left so far to 3 tries. A big shot, Brad Miller.
That ball hooked in his backswing.
Balls.
Three, 6, 10. And again, just how difficult this oil pattern is. That ball hit the lane and checked like it hit a puddle of tar, and then goes right through the nose. Anytime you see a player shaking his head, putting his hands up like that, giving the surrender sign, you know they're hard. You got to fight through it. You just got to find a way. You got to grind it out. Cover your spares. Ask Anthony Simonson about that missed spare in the 7th. He'll tell you, yeah, man, you just can't do that because you never know when you're going to be able to throw a double or a 3-bagger.
Emblematic of the whole day, really, Randy. We saw that in the seeding round where it went back and forth. Looked like we had a clear picture, and then it changed. 21st last year at the World Series of Bowling in suburban Detroit. Here we're just outside D.C. At Bolero, Simonson again in control and gets a little help as well on the 9. Down it goes for a huge strike.
7 and the 9 were up. Watch this. Yeah, 7-9 last to go, but nonetheless, it's a strike in the 8th for Simonson. Now, left lane, Simonson, 0 for. Has not struck on this left lane.
Gets a little help across the deck. And there's that strike he was seeking on the left lane. Big strike.
Talk about a great break. This is pretty clean. Messenger comes flying across, slaps the 10 in the face, says, get out of my way. Sweet, clean break.
Clean break of the game brought to you by Light Life. Light Life is the official plant-based burger partner for the PBA. At Light Life, our passion is making great tasting plant-based food with simple, clean ingredients. Foundation frame for Miller. Right lane works on a spare, crunches all 10 into the pit. Hoping to put some pressure on Anthony Simonson in the 10th. In a back and forth match. EJ Tackett Belmonte still a weight up the ladder. EJ is the 2 seed. Top seed Jason Belmonte trying for his 25th career PBA Tour title.
Max score 218 for Simo, 204 Brad Miller. Brad Miller strikes out in the 10th frame. He'll force Simo to throw the first strike and then get good count. It's not over yet for Brad Miller.
The way this show's gone, anything can happen. A lot of possibilities.
Yeah, he liked it as soon as he let go, but he popped up out of his slide. Usually when a player does that, it's either a really, really good shot or a really bad shot. That time it was really, really good. So he doubles up now. That puts him in the 190s, the low 190s. Simonson currently in the high 190s.
We talk a lot about the Jazz camp working with Mike Jazz now. Mike told Brad, look, my first career PBA Tour title was against none other than Walter Ray Williams Jr. So you're going to face some Titans on TV. You're going to have to knock them off if you want to win a championship. Well, here we go. The moment is now for Brad Miller.
Well, he's got 2 opponents. One is the guy sitting down in the chair behind him, and the other is the oil pattern.
Left lane, Miller. Yes. Big strike again.
All right, well, that basically forces Simonson to throw a first strike in the 10th. The last couple of shots on that right lane for Simo, it's gone pretty high flush.
I like the jump and the hop out of his finish there.
Well, I like the fact that he executed nicely there, and those last 2 shots have been as pure as you can throw them for Brad, who's struggled for so many frames just to find something he liked to get to the pocket.
Still shot 10 frame, 10 pin. stands for Miller.
All right, stage is set. Brad did all he could do there. He hung in there. He grinded it out.
No, I'm saying they're re-racking the left lane.
Simonson. Excuse me, Dave. Simonson strike in 8.
One re-rack remaining. Seeing his name in the scorebug there. Down by 5 pins. Strike in 8. He'll advance to take on Tackett. Stepladder finals here in Centerville, Virginia. Needs the strike. 9 pin.
Well, I mentioned it while Brad Miller was up that Simonson has been going pretty high flush. Remember, he tripped the 9, then the 7-9 went late. And this time, just an awful break, leaving the solid 9 to lose.
Brad Miller wins. Success on TV finally for Miller in search of his first career PBA Tour title. Next up, E.J. Tackett. Great match on the way from Centerville, Virginia. Miller climbs the ladder.
And his crew, Kendall, updating the bracket. You can see Belmonte, your #1 seed by virtue of his 225 game. Brad Miller sneaks out his first win on television over Anthony Simonson. And now his reward, he gets E.J. Tackett. Hey, Petey, just a heads up. As soon as he lets go of it, I'm going to go to him, all right?
203 to Simo's 197. After Brad had a 171 in the seeding round game. These are tough conditions, Randy. We knew that from the very beginning. You previewed it with the viewers that this is going to be a grind and a challenge on these very difficult lane conditions. Tackett-Miller match underway.
Hey, Jim Callahan, after all of the adjustments that Brad Miller went through in that last game, how confident do you think he is now after getting his very first win on television?
I think that second shot in the 10th is huge, man. He threw the double. You know, it's the first 200 game that he bowled, and, you know, in between when we were talking, I think I think he's got 230 in him right here. I don't know if that's enough, but he's got a lot more confidence, and his process is good, and I believe that, you know, he has a really good chance here.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Great insight from Jim. Great shot from Tackett.
Well, let's see how E.J. handles this pair. Looks like he's using the same ball on both lanes.
A late collapse in the seeding round for 223 behind Belmonte's 225. His road to the finals. Karsten Hansen, a participant from Denmark in the World Series of Bowling this year.
We'll see him in the Scorpion Championship.
Looking forward to that. He's trying for his first career PBA Tour title.
Well, he actually won the Lucky Larson, which counted as a PBA title. E.J. Tackett starts with a double. Good start for him. Apply a little pressure to Brad Miller. Yeah, I was with you on that too, Dave. I was like, this guy's never won before. And then someone told me that this morning that he won the Lucky Larson.
Right. We got some bad info on our
Yeah,
paper.
and
we'll get that straightened out.
I should have wrote that down on your info packet. That's my fault.
A lot of bowlers, a lot of players, a lot of packets.
That's my fault, Dave. Sorry about that. Lucky Larson is a tournament that they hold in Sweden. And Martin Larson, I think, is basically the chairperson of that event. And a lot of our players from the States fly over to compete. It's just a wonderful event.
Miller, you bet. Thursday Night Football returns to Fox. Brady and the all-new Bucks look like the real deal as they meet Super Bowl 52 rival Nick Foles and the Bears on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video.
So you're saying that Nick Foles is now taking over for Trubinsky?
That's right. Top QB.
Mitch is out and Nick Foles is in.
For now, yes.
Okay. All right. Hey, did I tell you my Rams have a bye this Sunday?
You have been talking about your Rams a lot this week.
Yeah, they're playing the Giants.
You just never know in the NFL.
Oh, wait, that was last week, right? When does this air? Well, I've said it before. Brad somehow found a way, hung in there, and now he's starting to get a little comfortable. And that's a nice kick save and a beauty on the 10. Remember, it wasn't too many frames ago, Dave Ryan, when he said, I have absolutely no idea.
Tackett. Wow. 1-3 pocket. 60 feet to success as he blasts the shrapnel into the pit. That was impressive.
E.J. Tackett's pretty impressive.
Spence had no chance, Randy. None at all.
Sorry, Dave. I mean, he's one of the most dynamic players out here. And, you know, just super fun to watch and an amazing athlete.
Made the Cheetah Show. Lost eventually to champ Sean Rash in the finals. Wants to win the Chameleon now.
Recently switched back to 15 pounds. He said, you know, the USBC passed a new rule that went into effect August 1st about not being able to use weight holes or balance holes in bowling balls anymore. Well, because the World Series of Bowling was contested back in March, we revert back in this event. The animal patterns like Cheetah, the Chameleon tonight, and then Scorpion, the players are allowed to use extra holes, balance. But the reason why EJ went back to 15 pounds is because of the differential, which basically tells the ball how much it can flare. They're a little bit higher in the lighter balls when you go from 16 to 15, and that's why he did it.
Perfect start continues here.
The second half of that story is EJ said, since I can't use balance holes anymore, I'm going to have to manipulate it more with my hand, and going down a pound makes it much easier to do that. As we take another look at Brad Miller's shot there for 4 in a row. That was beautiful on the right lane. And so now Brad's comfortable. I mean, he knows what both lanes are giving him, and now it's just execution.
8th-year pro, 30 years old, from Lee's Summit, Missouri, as we talked about. Every time he comes on TV, a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. His whole life, his family has had season tickets. Reduced capacity this year because of COVID-19, but Chiefs off to a great start.
Well, they sure did get a lot more fun to watch when they got Patrick Mahomes.
No doubt. Miller keeps us perfect as he strikes again. Front 5.
Remember Brad's comment, I have no idea. Well, he can't say that anymore. He's got a really good idea now. And again, he just has to execute, make shots. And he knows it. Going against one of the best players out on this tour.
Tackett looks very comfortable right now. Trying to keep us perfect. Yes. Wow.
Pretty convincing.
We're at that 1-3 pocket, shreds the rack again. Almost 20 miles an hour. That ball's cooking down lane. We're hearing a lot of the strike songs here. 5 for 5 for each. Arsenal for EJ.
Tank blitz.
Left lane, looks for the front 6. Across
Oh.
the deck, somehow the scout misses the 10 pin. And that messenger was moving.
Well, you know what? You can see that by the line, the red line there. He got this one wide, and watch his reaction as soon as he lets go of it. He knew that it was going to be right at target, and it just comes back and rips the rack. Watch this. Oops. Kind of unlucky there.
Halfway home here, Randy. Brad Miller trying for his first title is perfect, but he's got to take down E.J. Tackett. No easy matter.
Yeah, tall order for any player, but Brad Miller right now is looking pretty comfy. Lots more action to come from Virginia.
Great match here. Stepladder bowling from the Chameleon Championship. Perfect so far for Brad Miller in an attempt for his first career PBA Tour title. There have been 27, now 28 after this summer's 300 for Jacob Buttriff at the PBA Tour Finals. 28 televised 300 games. Miller trying to get halfway there. Before Jacob, it was Tommy Jones, Hall of Fame Classic, Arlington, Texas. 6 frame, yes! Halfway home for Miller.
Can't tell you how many times I've seen this on tour in my almost 40 years of being out here. Guy just kind of struggles, gets someone allows him to hang around. Opponent makes a mistake, he capitalizes, and then all of a sudden he gets locked in. That's exactly what Brad Miller's done. But Dave, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm not so sure I'd get carried away with the 300 game yet.
Okay. I just want to bring it up.
No, hey, it was a great comment, but if somebody bowls 300 on this all pattern, I'll buy you dinner tonight.
Really? Oh, my gosh. I'm going to go online and find the most expensive place close by. Come on, Brad. Looks for the front 7. Go up by 21 pins. No dinner for Dave. Darn it. 10 pin, but a good shot from Brad.
Yes, it was. He's doing exactly what he has to do, is just keep the ball in play and make your spares now. He's first spare he shot at all games, so if he converts here, he'll maintain a 10-pin lead. All right, Brett Spangler, tell us what E.J. Tackett's strategy was coming into this game.
You know, we had a pretty open mind because we didn't know if it was going to be resin or if it was going to be one of those microcell balls. But the way that they broke down with the guys in the first match, we ended up sticking with the microcell, and you know, we're hoping to maybe get a look at the resin, maybe on the fill ball.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
Good insight. He didn't like it. Goes crossing over, almost a Brooklyn strike. 6-10 up for E.J. Tackett, not happy in the right lane.
You can see that red line was definitely inside of his last successful shot on that lane by a good 2.5 boards. And just the 6-10, so not a lot of damage as long as he converts.
This is the point, Randy, where E.J. struggled a bit on TV last few times out. He hasn't won on the PBA Tour since last summer. And we called the PBA Tour Finals in Las Vegas. At Red Rock.
Well, I don't think anybody anticipated his opponent to start out with a front 6. And, you know, if E.J. shoots 237, he would have won game 1 by 34 pins. So, I mean, this one's going to come down to the wire again. And same thing that happened in our first match with Brad Miller and Anthony Simonson. Pretty good there.
Quite a response, left lane. Tattoos the rack. All 10 into the pit for E.J. Tackett.
This is a beauty. Just to the right, a second arrow, and pretty straight and tight line to the 1-3.
Those pins are falling fast, even in slow-mo.
Yeah.
He just crushed it. By the way, I was thinking about surf and turf. Had I gotten the free dinner from it.
Well, you don't have to think about it anymore.
Big lobster guy.
Yeah, I bet.
Crab legs, maybe. That works too. Great match here. We're in for a really good finish. Stepladder Bowling Chameleon Championship. Storm World Series of Bowling here in Centerville, Virginia. 8th frame. Up 12. Works on a spare. Another shot. Now a big shot. Miller. Yes.
Well, Miller gets to finish on that right lane in this match, and I think the right lane has really turned into kind of a pretty good lane. But take a look at Brad Miller and how he's playing these two lanes. Left lane is in blue, right lane in red. Remember, reactive resin on the right lane and the urethane ball on the left, so that's why there's much more angle on that right lane. You can see the launch position's a good 5 boards difference, and then 3 boards different at the arrows. And that's because of the difference between reactive resin and urethane bowling balls. Big shot here for Brad Miller.
9th frame. Go by 22. 2-4-5.
Well, you can see that this was a pretty close shot in comparison with the blue line and the red line. I'm not sure if it was a release issue or not. Look at the oil ring on that bowling ball. 2-4-5. He's working on a strike, so that's the good news because he doesn't lose any count. Bad news is A.J. Tackett can strike out and shut out Brad Miller.
Covers nicely. Spare of the game brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Mortgage rates are historically low. Save money at rate.com today. Brad Miller, Randy comes through.
Yeah, it was a good time to convert. And like I said, he was working on a strike, so he didn't lose any count. 259 max score for Brad Miller. 267 max for this man right here, E.J. Tackett. Big shot here in the 9th. Set up the 10th frame.
Cut it to a 2-pin deficit. Coming in high. Almost had the big 4.
How did that overhook?
Just has the 4-pin.
That ball looked like it hooked early.
How did that overhook?
Well, he needs to cover this and then strike out. He'd force Brad Miller to strike and 9 spare or strike spare or 9 spare strike.
Gosh, dang it.
Frustration for EJ again. We've seen this story before, late in matches. Pretty close to what happened in the Cheetah Championship with eventual winner Sean Rash. Scorpion Championship coming your way 9 Eastern tomorrow here on FS1. Buttriff, Tang, BJ Moore, and Karsten Hansen. Jacob Buttriff, lone lefty, trying to get back in the winner's circle. It's the final event of the 2020 Storm World Series of Bowling. Can't wait for that one. DJ. Strike left lane. Jacob Buttriff in the Scorpion Show hasn't won in a long time. Same for EJ, more than a year now. Here comes the pressure shot to try to put some more weight on the shoulders of Brad Miller. Big finish.
Mr. Big Shot. Now he gives Brad Miller something to think about. And on a tricky oil pattern, that's the last thing you want, is something else to think about. You had a great comment about EJ in late, and you're right. It was like what happened in Cheetah, only this time it was on the right lane, back-to-back shots on the right lane where he didn't strike and, in fact, didn't hit the pocket. And we saw that on the Cheetah Championship telecast where he hit struggles on the left lane. Now EJ looking for as much count as he can get to force Brad Miller to show up in the 10th frame.
Took a re-rack. Still has one officially in the match. Looking to finish in style and does. Strikes out. Here comes Miller with all the pressure in the world on his shoulders.
Strike and a spare, or 9 spare strike. I stand corrected. Strike and 9.
Miller wants this strike. 10 pin stands, gets 9.
He's got to convert here and then strike on his fill shot. If he makes this and gets 9, we have a tie.
First the 10 pin, then the strike. Step by step for Miller.
All right, good cover. So he's 1 strike away from bowling for the title for the very first time in his career, and that'll happen against Jason Belmonte. But right now, anything less than 9, and Brad Miller loses. EJ Tackett did his job striking out in the 10th frame to force the action, and now it's up to Brad Miller.
A strike for the win for Miller. Yes! He got it! Trip 4. Yes! Brad Miller beats EJ Tackett and climbs a ladder to the championship match to take on Jason Belmonte. Great bowling from Centerville here tonight.
Well, the biggest break of his career happened right here in front of us, folks. Remember, he left that week 10, and then this time he made sure he got enough of it, and he did. The ball breaks loose. He trips the 4, and he goes on to the title match against Jason Belmonte.
It's Brad versus Belmo coming up. Back to Kimberly.
It's time now for Do You Know the Pros, sponsored by Go Bowling. So which PBA bowler is also a Tennessee Squire? Is it Tommy Jones, AJ Johnson, Wes Malott, or Josh Blanchard? We'll have the answer for you when we return from the break. Now it's time to give you the answer for Do You Know the Pros, sponsored by Go Bowling. So which PBA bowler is also a Tennessee Squire? Is it Tommy Jones, AJ Johnson, Wes Malott, or Josh Blanchard?
One thing that people may not know about me is I enjoy whiskey. I like different whiskeys, but my favorite is Jack Daniels, and I'm actually a Tennessee Squire. And it's a program that Jack Daniels runs through the distillery. Squires have their own room. They can go and taste stuff. And actually in the Squire room, I have a bowling ball, a signed bowling ball, and a picture from one of the shows that I've been on that gets put up in the room, that all the different members of Jack Daniels, the different Squires, get to see whenever they go into the room.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Who knew? I didn't know that at all.
I don't know. I looked up squire in the dictionary. It says a young nobleman acting as an attendant to a knight before becoming a knight himself.
Different type of squire. Updated bracket, Jason Belmonte, top seed, looking for yet another PBA title. Would be his 25th. Brad Miller's never won a PBA Tour title. Maybe that changes here tonight in Centerville, Virginia. Jason Belmonte knows about winning at the World Series of Bowling. Done it 6 times in his Hall of Fame caliber career. He's up next. Storm World Series of Bowling and the tail of the tape here, Belmo and Miller. Randy, how do you break these two down?
Well, the numbers are pretty obvious. I mean, you see what Jason Belmonte's done in his illustrious career, and Brad Miller looking for his first ever title. I talked about it at the top of the show.
Underway with Belmo, 4-pin. We will not have a break in this championship match, so you'll see it in its entirety from start to finish. Belmo's had a long break after the seeding round, put him first by only 2 pins over E.J. Tackett. E.J. just fell a moment ago to Miller after Brad knocked off Anthony Simonson. Miller only at 171 on the seeding round game. He's knocked off 2 of the best in the sport. En route to the title till here.
Miller was the number 15 seed after qualifying. Simonson was 16, so they barely got in. And you know, we talked about it throughout the telecast. Miller somehow found a way to get around Simonson, and then that 10th frame where he tripped the 4-pin, and now he's bowling for the title. I think of all the players, if you're Jason Belmonte, you'd want Brad Miller for the title.
Whoa. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Difficult spare to pick up. A lot of wood out there.
Well, Brad's going to try to get his bowling ball over here to the right side of the 3-pin and cut it over into the 4-7. The ball will take out the back 2 pins, the 6 and the 10.
Not the start he wanted, to say the least, here in the championship match. After bowling so well against Simonson and Tackett. But as we talked about, big theme for Brad, the mental game he's worked on during the COVID break. Tested again here. Championship match. Can't cover. 4-7 up. Open frame. An opening for Belmo.
Well, he faced adversity before. Remember in the opening frame of his first match against Simonson, he left a 6-pin and missed it. Somehow still found a way to win that game. Real tight 248 the last game, but it's not the way you want to start against the world number 1.
Left lane for Brad. That's a high shot. 3-6 up. Brad's best appearance in his career at the Chameleon had been 53rd. So it's a remarkable run of the championship match, but he's got to find a look here, Randy, very quickly.
Well, Dave, I mean, he had a look. You know, he just shot 248.
Yeah.
I mean, that shot there hooked early. The shot on the right lane, I think he just got it in, so it was a bad shot. We're really not sure about what Jason Belmonte's ball reaction looks like either. We've only seen him throw 1 shot on the left lane.
4th time Chameleon TV Finals, a 5-1 career record of this event. Won it in 2011, we talked about. Won it last year, Suburban Detroit. Was a runner-up to Scott Norton in the championship in 2012. There's his road to the finals. Belmo trying to take advantage. Miller's early struggles. Good shot, 10-pin stands.
Jason Belmonte going with urethane on both lanes. Remember, Brad Miller's throwing reactive resin on the right lane and urethane on the left lane.
First TV appearance, Belmo Miller head-to-head. Two-hander from down under has not got it. He whiffs on the 10-pin.
Didn't commit to it.
And it's an open frame for Belmonte. Wow, what a surprise.
That's it.
Unbelievable. Brad Miller gives him the nice opening in the first, and Belmonte turns right around and gives it right back to him.
Okay, that's a major headline early, first couple frames of this championship match. Thought it was interesting that Brad Miller did not warm up during the break when Belmo was getting his warm-up shots on the TV pair. Brad just sat and watched. Coming off a great game, didn't want to mess with success maybe. All right, Belmo trying to rebound from that open, does strike. That's a good bounce back shot.
Brad Miller was purposely watching where Belmonte was playing, and while he was warming up prior to the start of this match, Brad wanted to know, all right, is he going to use reactive? Is he going to use urethane? Where's he going to be playing? And how's that going to affect my shot?
PBA playoffs, Brad Miller lost to Don Barrett. That was last year. World Series of Bowling leading to the PBA playoffs. Top 24 are in. Top 8 get a bye. Sean Rash got a bye via his win in the Cheetah Championship here in Centerville. Top 8 finisher. Miller, whoa, crossing over, gets a Brooklyn strike. Next stop, Prospect Park, Brooklyn.
It's the deepest we've seen anybody all day long. And he doesn't get it far enough to the right. Remember at the top of the show I told you how flat this pattern was in the middle, meaning that there's friction in the middle part of the lane, and he just found it.
Really nice part of the borough of Brooklyn. My parents are from Prospect Park. That's the reference there, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I would absolutely. That's great. So Brad Miller's making a ball change now on this left lane, using the same ball he used on the right lane. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a real fortunate double. So he goes Brooklyn, trips the 6 out, makes a ball change on the left lane, comes in light, carries this little light mixer, and all of a sudden now he's got the lead by 10.
I don't know, Randy. It's early in this championship match, but the script is kind of playing out here.
Right?
Hollywood level stuff here. It's the way it's gone for Miller.
I mean, this picture that's being painted with Brad Miller is just kind of, it's kind of getting obvious.
From a 171 in the seeding round match to now a lead against Belmo championship match. That's a much better shot. Right lane, no reason to even worry about that 10-pin. Let's take a look at tonight's Storm player of the game. It's Belmo, Randy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the father of the two-handed style. And, I mean, I've heard even Norm Duke say he's maybe the greatest that's ever thrown a bowling ball.
Wow.
And
that's a lot coming from Norm.
I mean, I mean, no disrespect to Walter Ray and Earl Anthony, but they've got more titles. This guy's got 13 majors. And I think his record was like he's made the show in more than half of the majors he's bowled. And then somebody put up a major championship record of Tiger Woods and Jason Belmonte. And Jason Belmonte's record is better in majors than Tiger Woods.
Wow. That's an amazing comparison. And some high praise for this guy. Back in the U.S., here's his arsenal.
Pitch black on both lanes.
Take a lead. Whoa. High shot.
That's trouble.
3, 6, 9, 10 up.
Well, this ball hooks early on Jason Belmonte and goes through the nose. That could be what Brad Miller saw and why he got out of the urethane ball and went to resin and moved in. He's got to get this back pin out, that 9 pin. So he's going to throw that hook ball into the 3-6 and hopefully covers that pin, the 9.
Does cover.
Perfect.
Stays clean. Big spare conversion.
Yeah, perfectly. He does lose 6 pins in count, though. I'm sorry, 4 pins in count. So we go from all tied up to...
Millions of kids nationwide without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports has teamed up with Good Sports to restore play for kids and the community organizations that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. You can also help keep kids in the game by donating to Restore Play. Visit goodsports.org to learn more. Wow, good shot. 9-pin stands for Miller.
Oh. You know, so sometimes the bowling gods get back at you. Remember the last shot on that lane, he went Brooklyn. And now he kind of pays for it because that was pretty much perfect. Ball goes right by the 9 pin. It's like a big, hey, thank you very little. I'd love to.
Miller 3-pin lead. Other finishers, Randy, some great competitors in this Chameleon Championship.
Yeah, really, they really were. Jesper just missing out. Chris Prather, Smalls, Pontus, O'Neill, Buttriff, who we'll see in the upcoming Scorpion show. Chris Vai, there's Carson, we'll see him as well. Frankie, Thomas Larson, Josh Blanchard, we're going to miss him out here on this tour. And Beef Stew, Stu Williams. Josh Blanchard retiring.
Announced that recently. We are setting up for a tremendous finish here at the Chameleon Championship. Left lane. Wow.
Same thing that Belmonte left on the same lane.
3, 6, 9, 10, Randy. Amazing.
Could this be the deciding spare? The 3, 6, 9, 10. Belmonte covered his in the 5th. Now Miller leaves it. Same lane. If he does convert, Belmonte will take a 1-pin lead when he gets up in the 6th frame.
Lot to cover. Can't do it. The 9 stands. Open frame. Huge break for Belmo on the bench. He's now got a 12-pin lead.
3, 6, 9, 10, in my opinion, is the hardest non-splitter washout to try to convert because of that back pin, the 9 pin. We've even seen players now starting to throw backup balls at it, straight balls at the 3, 9. Unless you're bowling on an easy pattern where there's friction to the right, that's a tough bugger to try to convert.
2-time champ in this event, also runner-up. He wants the hat trick championships at the Chameleon. Belmo, good shot. 3 and 10 pin.
Yeah, I was inside just aboard, and then it hit a little bit of extra oil and pushed a little bit farther down the lane, and that was the end result would be this ring 10. But good shot nonetheless for Jason Belmonte. You see that right in between 2nd and 3rd arrow.
Already missed the 10-pin once on this right lane. Not a second time. Not now for Belmo.
Okay.
And Covers has his mark through 6.
This is the one. Let me see your shot.
2011, the 2nd career win Randy, you called this. South Point in Vegas. Going back 9 years. Different look for Belmo then, but greatness was just emerging, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the next season where he won his first Player of the Year title. And he did that against Sean Rash.
That's quite a victory yell. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, man, that was cool.
All right, 11-pin lead for Jason Belmonte. This time he kicks the 10 out. Now, Brad Miller, you have anything left? He's worked so hard and come so far, and then misses the 3, 6, 9, 10, which is easy to do. Let's see how he rebounds.
Biggest point of his career right here. Trying to stay in it. Down 11. Seventh frame, strikes, and really delivers coming off the open.
Good shot. Real good shot. Now see if he can double up. Really starting to use his hand. By the way, I just got a text from EJ Tackett saying that he thinks this show put him over $1 million in earnings. So congratulations to EJ Tackett on that milestone.
Fantastic. What a career for EJ. Already accomplished and still to come. Well, our main theme, we talked about all day, Randy, with Kimberly, was David versus Goliaths for Brad Miller. Couple Goliaths dispatched. One remaining. Can he overcome the largest of them all? And Jason Belmonte, let's find out. Left lane. Another big shot. Miller, 10-pin.
Boy, that was so close to being so good. Brad's got a lot of tricks in terms of what he can do to the bowling ball and the way he can roll it. And pretty good for a flat 10.
Belmo steps up. 8th frame, up 11, chance to go up 21 pins here. He struck 3 times so far in this championship match, his only match because he was the top seed through the seeding round to begin this Chameleon show. One strike so far in the right lane. Big shot, Belmo delivers.
Steps up there cooler than a polar bear's feet and just throws a double right at Brad Miller to increase his lead to 21.
Now his foundation frame, chance for a 31-pin lead.
Yes!
Rip 7, big shot.
Get those hits.
Up 31 pins.
Yes! Get those hits.
Big time players step up in big time situations is exactly what Jason Belmonte just did. Brad Miller now, in my opinion, must strike situation to have any chance at all. He has to strike out. Win or lose, Brad Miller showed a lot of people today that he can play with the big boys, and he went the distance with the tour's biggest and best.
A lot of Goliaths to knock off in this field of 4 to begin the Chameleon Championship. Belmo hoping for another win this year. Already has 2 majors, U.S. Open and the World Championship, on his resume for 2020. And remember, before COVID, when Belmo was struggling a little bit, getting to TV but not winning. 3rd at the Players Championship, 4th at the TOC, 4th in Jonesboro. But boy, did he turn the corner. U.S. Open, World Championship, then the long break, and now hoping for another title here tonight in Centerville, Virginia. Miller steps up and strikes.
Get him off.
Right now, Belmonte is at 213 with a mark. If Belmo were to go spare strike in the 10th, let's say he goes 9 spare strike, he'd shoot 212. Brad Miller is shooting 202. So Brad Miller with a strike here will force Belmonte to get a mark.
Boy.
He didn't like that.
I'll take it.
And he goes Brooklyn. And taps the 10 for a strike to finish at 202.
Any mark will do for Belmonte. Remember, he missed a 10-pin in the 2nd frame. Otherwise, this is already over.
Just a mark for Belmo. The world's #1 is going to step up to try to wrap it up. Belmo looks for his 25th career title. He's got it. There's the strike. There's the championship here in Centerville. Jason Belmonte wins the Storm World Series of Bowling PBA Chameleon title.
Well, there's no question in the world why this guy is #1. And I mean, it's just so good. And he stepped up there and just absolutely cured that first shot in the 10th.
3rd Chameleon championship for Belmo. Another championship in 2020 en route to what should be a 6th Player of the Year honor. And 25 titles in his great bowling career.
Hats off to Brad Miller. That man there, Jason Belmonte.
Great finish, man. Really great finish. On that lane?
Yeah.
Unbelievable shots, man.
Nice job, man.
Yes!
Belmo does it again, Randy.
Yeah, well, this is the winning shot. I mean, he posted that one up beautifully, and there was no doubt. Look at those eyes. He knew it was perfect.
To Kimberly with a happy winner.
Jason, you said at the top of the show that these lanes were brutal, but you walked away with the win. So what was the key to you competing on these conditions?
Yeah, look, both lanes broke down just so differently. It was quite difficult to get the ball to go through the pins the right way. I got a couple of hits, actually, that I was really lucky with. Brad's finish on that lane, it's hard to describe to you guys at home, like how little error or room for error you have. So the way that he executed that 10th frame, I knew that I just got to give it my absolute best shot to get it going through the pins, and I threw the best shot I possibly could.
Well, you are walking away with a win, but you know what? This win today makes it 25 PBA Tour titles for you. Describe, put into words what that means to you.
I mean, it's every single time something like this happens, Kimberly, I'm just incredibly grateful. I'm just very proud of myself, and I want to thank everybody that's been involved. You know who you are, so thank you so much, especially my family back home. I miss you guys very much.
Well, why don't you head over there and grab that trophy? It's all yours.
Jason Belmonte, a champion again on the Go Bowling PBA Tour. Put that mask down for
Thank you very much, Bill and Barbara Christman. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, Vice. Thank you, Blake Jamieson. Nice customs. Appreciate it, man. Thank you to my ball rep, Straw and Ryan.
Got it done with those cool shoes. Storm PBA World Series of Bowling continues with a Scorpion Championship tomorrow, 9 Eastern here on FS1. Randy, what a moment again for Belmo.
Yeah, it's not surprising. He's just it's the best in the world, and that's what you expect.
Fun to watch here in Centerville, Virginia. Now for Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, the entire crew. It's Dave Ryan saying so long, and thanks for watching the Storm World Series of Bowling Chameleon Championship. The Cheetah went to Rash, Chameleon to Belmo. Don't forget the Storm World Series of Bowling continues with a Scorpion next to wrap up the World Series here in Centerville. Third Chameleon title for Belmo. The two-hander from down under does it again.
It's a